if you're a vegan, the chances are that you will jump for joy with what I'm about to say. The meat industry is busy killing itself. And this is the reality, not just in South Africa, and although a lot of my experience is based on and within the South African context, but it's a worldwide phenomenon. And the reason why I'm saying that is there are so little new entrants coming into the industry that the older generation is busy, for lack of a better explanation, they're busy dying off and nobody's there to replace them. So you've got a certain age group, and we know the story about the baby boomers, and we know that they are busy to a large extent, they're busy dying off. And the next generations, unfortunately, seem to only want to work behind computers, and they want to be attorneys or doctors or in IT or something like that. And unfortunately, it's the case in South Africa, and it's also happening all over the world. There's a massive worldwide shortage for skilled people, skilled labor. And it's gotten to the point where, as a skilled laborer, you earn slightly above minimum wage, even though what you do is an art form in itself. Being able to work with meat it's actually quite a skill, and it's quite an important skill. You can do so much and just be so creative that it's not even funny. So as a non-vegan, I'm going to say to the vegans that I am extremely respectful towards the animals, and we need to try and use, if we kill, we need to use everything as much as we can. And although this is probably not something that you want to hear, it's not something that's going to fall within your agenda, but unfortunately, it's going to be difficult to change people's minds. So again, people must come to the realization that they either have to do something about fixing the industry, making it more sustainable. Alternatively, they need to find alternative ways of finding sustenance in the form of proteins. The South Africans at this stage, and like I said, I'm a South African, where our pastime and a national sort of average national pastime used to be having a braai and drinking beer, has now become looking at options from an immigration perspective. Where can we go? Where can we get in? Where can we get in the easiest? Because there are so many South Africans that just can't be here anymore. They can't stick it out. And I'm going to be honest, I've also started looking around, and my research has started expanding to such an extent that I can see trends not only in South Africa, but I can also see the trends in other parts of the world. I spoke about the minimum wage issue and a skilled person earning slightly above minimum wage, and unfortunately it doesn't encourage people to come into the industry, and therefore it's busy killing itself. It's so important really that we make sure that we find ways in which to deal with our issues, and training really is it's one of the ways, and I'm not saying it's the be all and end all, but it's one of the ways in which we can educate people and make people aware. Because as a vegan, you will know how difficult it is to get your message across, and trying to convert people to your belief and your belief of not consuming or using animals or animal products. And in the same boat, we as training individuals within the meat industry are also having just as tough a time, because nobody wants to comply. Compliance is one of the least important issues that people want to deal with, even though it carries the risk of ending with a criminal record and the penalties, the financial penalties that come with it. and or the potential imprisonment. So even that is not an encouragement enough for people to comply and at least do the minimum or the basics in terms of training. The average South African butcher or butchery owner will tell you that he or she is not interested in anything that the government is doing. They are not interested in training people. They're not interested in building the industry because it's all about me and it's all about what I'm concerned with right now. The reality, though, is that the same people who want nothing to do with the government, they want nothing to do with nothing, they want nothing to do with training, are also the same people who keep complaining that they can't find good people because good people within the meat industry almost doesn't exist. And those who have the good people try and hold on to them as much as they can, but also only to a certain extent. I won't pay you more than what I think you're worth. I won't pay to keep you. If you want to go, you must go. And then I'm just going to complain and I'm going to try and find somebody else. And then everybody's going to be useless. And you know, it's just that cycle is just going to keep continuing to no end, unless somebody actually steps up and does something, unless somebody starts getting involved in training. And nobody says you have to train 100 people. If you take in one person and you train one person, you treat that person right. I mean, you can say, I train people and the moment I train them, they leave me. People, from an HR perspective, people don't leave businesses for the most part. They leave managers. They leave employers. So by saying that you've trained them, you haven't done them any favors. You've given them an opportunity and they've seen better opportunities and now they're going to go and take the better opportunities. And the problem is that if you are willing, you're not willing to train people because they're going to leave you, but you won't think twice to take somebody who's been trained by somebody else. So that whole notion of training versus non-training, it's busy killing the industry because as much as you don't benefit, the future generation doesn't benefit. And guess what? As a person within the meat industry, the vegans are starting to laugh at us. They're starting to laugh at you. They're starting to see that, you know, this thing it's not sustainable. We're on the right track. We're doing the right thing. We're going to get the people converted. So it's vitally important for people to start getting involved in training, even on an informal scale. Training doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be that intensive. All it takes is a little bit of commitment and a lot of attitude towards training and to want to make a difference in somebody's life. But unfortunately, the typical South African cannot stand with another, cannot see the sunshine over another person. And that's going to be the downfall of the South African meat industry, but it's also to a very large extent going to be the downfall of the worldwide meat industry, because I can't imagine that the issues that we have in South Africa is only exclusive to us. So vegans, you know, as a meat eater, I'm gonna say you guys you just stick it out because this thing is gonna kill itself.